Alright, hello everyone. I'm just going to make a quick video on the metals and alloys. This is going to be all the stuff that we're going to cover in chapter 12. There's not many practice problems with this. It's really just understanding the concepts and being able to answer questions about different things, right? So mainly what you're going to be asked, at least to my knowledge and what I believe, is something a metal or an alloy, or something synthetic or man-made as a polymer. We might have to recognize some polymer notation, which I'll kind of go over, but likely we won't have to do that, but it's always good to know. So yeah, so the first thing we're going to talk about is metals versus alloys. Very simple concept here. Basically what a metal is, it's a singular elemental metal, right? So you have your gold, your silver, your iron, your aluminum, your tin, your can't think of any other metals than that, but those are your things that aren't mixed with anything else, right? When you have a tin can that's 100% made out of tin, that's a metal. You're not mixing it with anything. That is pure tin. And these can be found in the periodic table, right? So again, like if you, let's see if I can look up periodic table here. I should always have one pulled up, but oh, computer's frozen. Oh my goodness. Okay. Periodic table. Drag it on over here. Usually your transition metals are going to be your metals, right? So we have, let's see, titanium's one we've probably heard of, chromium, iron we've heard of, cobalt maybe, nickel we've heard of, copper, zinc. These are all very familiar names for metals, but those are going to be your most common metals that you see. Aluminum as well is in there. So then your alloys are actually a mixture of two or more metals. So some examples of those is steel, a penny. So a penny isn't actually made out of copper because due to like inflation and things, as Professor Sherlock talked about, a penny became worth less than the amount that the copper cost. So a penny, you could like melt many different pennies and make more money off of the metal than you would have just by having the pennies, right? So eventually they made it into a mixture, which is, I think it's now mixed with copper and zinc. And they do the same thing with like nickels. I want to say they do the same thing with quarters, dimes. They probably also do that as well. But just a little fun fact there, and that'll help you on the test, is that it's very unlikely that a what's it called? A coin is going to be made out of a pure metal. Usually they're alloys. 14 karat gold, as we also talked about, that just means that a portion of it is gold. I don't know, 14 divided by 24, whatever that is. That's how much percent gold there is, and etc. So anything that you can't find on the periodic table is likely going to be your alloys, right? So I have a little practice problem with that one, and it's basically asking, is something a metal or an alloy? So you guys can feel free to pause, try it out yourself, or you can just watch me do it. So tin, I want to say it's periodic. Is tin not one? Guys, have I been lied to my whole life? Okay, tin is. Okay, so tin is on the periodic table. So tin, we could say that's a metal. Iron is on the periodic table, so that's a metal. Brass is not on the periodic table, and it's actually a mixture of different things, so that's our alloy. Aluminum is a metal. A penny, as we said, is an alloy. Bronze is going to be an alloy as well. Just a mixture of metals. You don't see bronze on the periodic table. Pure gold is going to be a metal. So as we said before, there's a difference between 14 karat gold, which is a mixture of metals. 24 karat gold would just be pure, but I don't think we're expected to know that pure gold is 24 carats. I mean, not 14, 24. I think it's 24. The only thing I can think of is that Bruno Mars song that's like 24 karat magic in. So that's how I think of it. But I don't think we have to know that. But he'll probably tell us it's pure gold or pure tin or pure aluminum, just so that we can confirm that it is actually a metal. And then steel is going to be a mixture, so it'll be alloy. Alrighty, so that's all for that section. It's fairly simple. And the next thing is going to be our polymers. So polymers, honestly, to me, is like a really cool concept. It's basically just a long chained molecule of repeating units. I'll actually look up some pictures of polymers for you guys, because there's some really big ones, and there's some really small ones, and yeah. So you can see, like, this is an example of a polymer. They're the same units, so these same things are being latched onto each other, and it's just repeating, repeating, repeating. Here's a great example of one. It's just repeating units being attached together. There's a lot of pictures here of plastics, because this is actually how they make plastics, right? Polyvinyl chloride, I believe it is PVC, what they use to make the pipes in our houses and stuff. The plastic on your water bottle, I can actually see my water bottle right now. I don't know if it has the number on it. Should have somewhere. I want to say plastic water bottles or plastic 4 or whatever you want to call that. But that's basically just like the polymers of it, right? So yeah, you can see, like, some of these can get huge, and a chemist isn't going to want to draw this out. They're not going to want to be like, okay, it's 5 million gajillion these guys, plus 5 more of these guys, and drawing that out, ooh, that would be a pain. Like, rip every person who had to make these pictures for Google, right? Like, some of these are absolutely crazy. So what we do is we try to condense the notations so that it's a little bit easier to write out, and we can see that it's a polymer, right? So this would be the notation, right? So it's going to be your chained unit, and then you're going to have your dashes there with your these are like basically like polymer, I don't know, notations, I guess, where you're saying that this is where the chained unit is, and there's going to be a hydrogen attached here, right? So here's an example of one. We have carbon, hydrogen. This is just like your average carbon and hydrogen molecule. So if we were to chain it out, we would do the H first, then do our C, then the rest of the H's, and the C, and the H's, and then that's going to attach to another one of these. So there's going to be 27 of these attached to each other, right? I'm not going to write that all out, but 27, 27, 27, and then we'll say that this is the 27th one. It's going to look like this. I don't believe we're expected to write out a polymer or like draw out the Lewis structure of one, but this is kind of like a good thing to know, especially if you're going into organic chemistry. When you take Orgo 2, there's a little bit of polymer chemistry in there, and if you're interested in doing pharmaceutical sciences, there is a lot of electives that you can take in college that is literally just all on polymer chemistry, right? So I might take that course, and might be fun, might not be fun, we'll see if I even end up taking it, but that is an option. If you're planning to go that route, there's a lot of polymer chemistry in there also, with like drugs and nutrition and things like that. So that is kind of what the notation looks like, right? So these are going to be your hydrogens here, but you don't write the hydrogens in because it's like assumed. So yeah, they're long chain molecules of repeating units. Most often they'll have the prefix poly, like polyvinyl chloride, polypeptide, polysaccharide. Usually they'll have that. Sometimes they don't. Like, for instance, starch is one that doesn't. There's Kevlar. Those are like their basic names. They have like scientific names, but most people will just call that like starch, or PVC is another like common name that we see. So we're gonna have to pick out which one is natural versus which one is synthetic, right? For me personally, I just go back to like high school chemistry class, or just thinking like, what can I eat? What is seen inside my body? What's seen in plants and things like that, right? So you have like cellulose, which is in plants. You have starch, which we eat. You have polysaccharides, which, it's so bad. I want to say that those are fats. I think so. And then you have your polypeptides, which I'm pretty sure are your proteins. But just things like that would be like your natural stuff. And then there's synthetic, where it's like polyvinyl chloride, Kevlar, things that you don't see in nature, right? Those would be your natural versus synthetic. If you need a bit of a brush up in your like biology molecules, it's definitely a good idea to do that. You can look up like basic biological molecules, and that should probably help you out. You might be able to even look up basic biological polymers, and that might help you out too. Let me actually look it up for you guys. Basic biology polymers. There should be like a list, right? Yeah, fatty acids, amino acids, proteins, phospholipids, polysaccharides, DNA, RNA. You know, there's like your good list. Let's see. Proteins, nucleic acids. Like there can probably be like a Quizlet out there for you. Proteins, polymers. Yeah, and that could help you out as well. So, the first question is classify the following as either natural or synthetic polymers. So we have polyester. I'm just going to write it like below it. Polyester, I want to say is man-made. So I'm going to write man. Silk is seen in nature, I want to say, because we have like a spider. They have silk webs. Nylon, I want to say, is man-made. Starch is natural. Say nature. Kevlar is man-made. Cellulose is nature, and rayon is, I want to say, man-made. So it goes man, nature, man, nature, man, nature. Okay, that makes sense. The only one I want to check is polyester. Polyester, man-made. Yes, okay. And then I want to see what rayon is. This is actually a question from semi-synthetic, man. Well, if it's semi-synthetic, first man-made. Oh, the first man-made fiber. You learn something new every day. And then let me just check on silk again. Silk, natural or synthetic? It's a natural fiber. Okay. So yeah, it's really just kind of like doing things like that. Like polyester, you're like, I don't think that that's man-made. I've never heard of, or I don't think that's naturally made. Polyester is, I want to say, a type of plastic. That's like your PE plastic that I think you'll see. I don't know what number plastic that is, but yeah, so that's basically what we're kind of expected to do. This is actually from the practice exam, so yeah. Okay, and then this is kind of like more of like a for-your information. I don't believe we're going to be tested on this, but it will help you if you go up to higher level. So it's basically just writing the polymer notation for each, right? So with this first one, I'll go ahead and do it. You guys can pause and try it out yourself if you'd like to. So we're going to draw our little polymer notation first. And then I see we have a CH3 and CHCl attached to another CH2, which will be like your CH3 without the hydrogen. So we have CHCl attached to CH2. Okay. This actually should be CH2. All right, let's see how many repeating units we have. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll say this is 4 of them. All right, the next one, pretty simple. We have all of these carbon and hydrogens attached to each other. So it's going to be CC. That's going to be one of your hydrogens. So then hydrogen, 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 and hydrogen. All right, let's count how many repeating units. So we have 1, 2, 3. And those would be your answers. All right, that is all that I have for this video. I hope that this helps with chapter 12. Again, always a good idea to review, maybe watch some videos if you would like to. And yeah, have a great day, and thank you for watching.